A 55-year-old woman, an experienced hiker, sets off on a short trail she's walked dozens of times before and simply vanishes. No screams, no struggle, no trace. Just gone. On July 18, 2007, Barbara Bolick walked into the Montana wilderness with a guest she barely knew and vanished without a trace. Originally from New Jersey, Barbara met her husband, Carl, while he was in the Air Force. They eventually settled in Corvallis, Montana after retiring. She had no history of depression or mental illness. She wasn't impulsive, and she took safety seriously, always carrying water, snacks, and a loaded revolver when she hiked. She was also active and ambitious, taking flying lessons, learning how to ski, exploring her love of the outdoors. By all accounts, she was happy. "This is the place I want to be," she once told Carl. Bear Creek Overlook is a moderate 2.6-mile trail tucked into the Bitterroot Mountains, not far from Barbara's home. It was one of her favorite spots. The trail runs along a canyon covered with loose shale rock, making it difficult to walk silently and nearly impossible to disappear without making a sound. Barbara had hiked it countless times. In mid-July, Carl's cousin Donna Biles came to Montana for a visit, bringing her boyfriend, Jim Ramaker, a 58-year-old man from California. Barbara, always welcoming, often took guests on hikes to show off the local beauty. Carl, however, stayed home. A previous heart attack had made long hikes difficult. The original plan? Barbara, Donna, and Jim would hike the trail together. But that morning, Donna was hungover and opted to stay behind. So it was just Barbara and Jim, two people who'd only just met. On the morning of July 18th, Barbara woke her husband around 8:30 a.m. and told him she and Jim were heading to Bear Creek. She said they'd be back in time for dinner. Nothing seemed off. Carl later said she was in great spirits. She was looking forward to the day. And with that, Barbara and Jim left the house, never to return together. According to Jim Ramaker's account, they reached the overlook. They admired the view. They turned back. At some point, Barbara dropped back, just a few steps behind him. He turned around. She was gone. Jim searched the trail, called her name, retraced his steps. No response, no sound. Eventually, he returned to the trailhead and waited, then drove back to the house, alone. Carl immediately knew something was wrong. Authorities launched a massive search of Bear Creek. Hundreds of volunteers, helicopters, dogs, and professional search teams combed the area for days. Nothing. Not a shoe, not a torn piece of fabric, not a drop of blood. No signs of an animal attack. No signs of a fall. No signs of foul play. How does someone completely vanish on a well-traveled trail at 10 a.m.? One theory suggests Barbara may have fallen from the trail, but this is unlikely for several reasons. She avoided cliffs due to a fear of heights. The overlook has limited steep drop-offs. A fall of that nature would have likely left evidence. Search crews scanned every ravine, rock shelf, and crevice. They found nothing. Montana is home to bears, cougars, and other predators, but even a surprise animal attack leaves clues. Disturbed ground, tracks, torn clothing, blood. Barbara had her revolver with her. It was never recovered. If she used it to defend herself, there would have been a sound or shell casings. Again, nothing. Could Barbara have planned her own disappearance? This theory collapses quickly. She was deeply happy, active, and planning for the future. She left behind her husband, friends, pilot lessons, and family. No personal belongings were taken, not even a phone or ID. Why vanish on a hike with a stranger? It makes no sense. Jim Ramaker, the last person to see her alive, claimed she simply disappeared. He was not charged, but that hasn't stopped speculation. He was a new acquaintance. He had no alibi beyond his word. He passed a polygraph, but these are not admissible in court and not always reliable. Could he have harmed her and hidden the evidence perfectly? Or did something more sinister happen in the wilderness that day? Something no one could predict. It's been over 15 years since Barbara Bolick vanished. No clues, no closure, no peace. A woman who loved the wild vanished into it, without a sound, a scream, or a goodbye. "This is the place I want to be," she had said. And perhaps in a tragic twist, that's exactly where she'll remain. What do you think happened to Barbara Bolick? Was it an accident, a cover-up, or something stranger? Drop your theories in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dive.